All right. I want to welcome everyone. This is going to be a really, really cool call. And the reason being is because we're talking about something that I would say the vast majority of entrepreneurs feel and struggle with internally in terms of their resistance, in terms of their avoidance, in terms of not putting themselves out there in a way that they know their heart's calling them towards. And that is to truly be seen and to truly share your place of vulnerability. Because as entrepreneurs, as business owners, we're releasing content, we're getting out there in videos on live streams like this and being in a space of just sharing our content from our heart. And whenever we have the fear, whenever we have the doubt and the worry, the concerns of, man, I just don't want to be seen. What are people going to think? Are they going to judge me? All these patterns come up. And if we don't address them, if we don't hold a loving, safe space for them, it can truly be the pattern that stops you giving your gift. And we all have a gift inside us, right? We all have this divine gift that's unique to us that we're here to offer the world, that we're here to contribute. That's why it feels so good to contribute. And so if at any aspect, if at any place in your body and your consciousness where you have this fear of being seen, the fear of getting out there, the fear of getting outside your comfort zone, the fear of being judged, this is going to be an amazing call because we're going to invite Francesca on in a second. And she's already transcended a lot of patterns. So we can talk about what she's done in the past, but also talk about what's coming up for her. And it's awesome that all of you guys are giving her support, whether it be here in the comments or in the chat, because even just getting out here and getting on this call is, in a sense, her overcoming her fear. And that's why it was so ironic. And it's almost in a divine way of doing things. When we leap and when we face our fears, there's so many lessons to be learned, right? So many lessons to be learned. And life will always be able to give you circumstances, events, right? Serendipities, relationships that always allow you the opportunity to overcome your fears and to love the sides of you haven't loved unconditionally yet. So share with us what's coming on. I know before the call we were having a chat and we've been talking back and forth obviously a lot in the last few weeks, but things that are coming up for you are a lot to do with this entrepreneurial journey, a lot to get seen, a lot to get out there, everything like that. But one thing, like you said just before, you're freaking out about even coming on this call. So everyone's going to share their love and share their support and their encouragement because we all know what it's like to be in the situation where we're just like flipping out. We're just like, we know it feels expansive. We know it feels a calling. We know it feels aligned, but there's some side of us that's freaking out. But I want to talk about a few days ago, we were talking about getting on this call and a lot came up for you and you made a huge shift then anyway. Why don't you give us a good indication on what was coming up and what was able to transcend in that moment?
Well, we were talking about, I told you like I want to volunteer for the call and everything because I always had this thing about being seen. And it's funny because I also work as an actor and I still have that fear, especially now that I was starting something new and it's, you have to be very vulnerable when you're working, doing coaching or, anything in that type of work. And so I was wondering why I was feeling that fear of being seen. And I realized that I was really afraid of making mistakes because I was always criticized for making mistakes. My mom was like very perfectionist. So I didn't want to feel like I was a failure again because I felt like that many times in my life before. So, but then at the end, I realized that it wasn't that. It was just like the fear of losing the love of my parents or my mom for making those mistakes. And then I also realized that I don't let myself feel, I'm very good at analyzing my feelings. Like, I know what I feel, I know why I feel it, but I don't allow myself to feel it. And that scares me so much. And I know I have to, but it's so hard. And it's also like, same story. It's like my mom wouldn't allow me to cry. Like, every time I will cry, it's like she would tell me that there wasn't a reason for me to cry, like, you should save your tears for when someone dies, that type of thing. Like, you got to be strong. You can't be crying for that thing. That doesn't make any sense. So I feel like now I have that voice inside of me. So every time I'm like, yeah, I'm feeling that, then I'm like, okay, come on, just go and do your thing, like, be strong. But at the end of the day, like, I know I have to feel it.
Yeah, totally. Because it's coming up organically, right? It's coming up naturally because, and that gives you an indication. It's like, regardless of what happens externally in terms of our circumstances or events or whatever, the more we don't feel it, the more we push it down, the more it's just going to come up even more, right? And obviously, the reason being is because there's an internal 5-year-old, there's a side of you that has a belief, the belief about what things need to be like, the things about what life should or shouldn't be like, in order for you to be enough, right? In order for you to feel worthy, in order for you to feel safe, which was programmed and conditioned by your blueprint as a child of what helped you receive love, right?
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people can relate truly. But before we move on, how about you share with everyone what it is you do, what business it is you run, and how you help people?
Okay, so besides the acting, that's something that I've been doing for 2 years. I'm just like starting. I don't like to call it coaching though. I have an issue. Well, that's something. It's a different topic, but I have some issues with the word coaching, and so I've been trying to find another word for what I'm doing. But it's basically that for women with eating disorders. That's what I'm trying to start, because I have eating disorders for 20 years. So I feel like that's where I can really help people. And I'm also a reader, like I read tarot, I do astrology, I do all those things, and human design.
Great. Perfect.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And similar here, where you went through 20 years of an eating disorder and now you feel called to help people in that area. Very, very similar here, where things are coming up organically and naturally for you in terms of your emotions. And you can feel that having a different relationship with these emotions that are coming up, once again, allows you to serve at a different level, right? Because whatever we face, whatever emotions are coming up, whatever obstacles and challenges we have in life, are always the opportunity for us to evolve into the version we're meant to evolve into, so that we can give at the levels we're meant to give, right? And so I find this, especially people who are on the entrepreneurial journey, it's like all this stuff's coming up, and we're now starting to recognize the opportunity. Once these are transcended, once they're moved on, once they're loved unconditionally, we now have harnessed that gift that we can pass on to people, right? That we can pass on to our clients at different levels, pass on to our family, our friends, even strangers, like just by our energy. It's so cool. And it's just a huge opportunity that we're starting to seek. So, and you explained before this call and just then as well, that you're very, very aware of what's coming up, why it's there. You can analyze the hell out of it. One thing that is coming up is that you have a hard time feeling it physically. How about you just describe that to me in just for a minute, and describe what it is that the challenge is there?
Like, I feel like after I analyze and find the cause, I'm like, I feel good enough about it. I'm like, see, I knew it. That's what it is. Done. I'm good. Like, like, I feel like that's a win. And as soon as I start feeling it, I that other side of me comes up, and it's like, okay, yeah, but we know already why. So it's like, we're over it, you know.
Yeah.
It's not an issue, but of course it keeps coming up, and it keeps coming up through like fear of like doing, for example, my first Zoom call in like a week or two. And I'm like, oh my God, what am I gonna say? What if they hate me? What if I don't have anything to say? What if I don't know? What if nobody shows up? Or what if a lot of people shows up? You know?
Yeah. So what about the fear if no one shows up? And what about the fear if everyone shows up? Like why can't the perfect amount of people that I think is good just show up, and then if there's two above that, they can leave, and if there's two below that, then I'll feel like a failure. Right? It's kind of it's the funny thing of the mind. But this is what's happening, and a lot of people resonate as well, because you can almost imagine that 5-year-old, right, coming up to you in the park, and the 5-year-old's coming up to you because they feel safe. They feel a safe energy with you, so they feel like they can come and be seen. Let's say, obviously, the people here every week, they know the analogy, but if the 5-year-old doesn't know where their parents are and they come to you and they're upset and they're crying, what we're doing to our internal 5-year-olds in this case is saying, oh, I know why you're scared. I know why you're crying. Your parents are lost. You don't know where they are, right? That's why. Thank God. Thank God we know why you're upset. Thank God we know why you're crying. Oh, that's good. Finally, we worked it out. Right?
Yeah, exactly.
Now the question is, how seen does that 5-year-old feel?
No, totally ignore. It's like, okay, we know already, just go away.
Yeah.
I know when you feel that way, just leave.
Yeah. And you can leave with a sense of pride and be like, I figured it out. I'm the champion, right? I'm so good. And next time it comes up, I bet I'll figure it out again. Right?
Yeah, that's what I do. Yeah.
Yeah. And one thing we know and we can feel even intuitively is that everything's coming up to be seen. Everything's coming up to be felt, to be heard, to be understood, to be loved. And one thing that a lot of people can run into is the meaning around the emotion, because we feel like if it's uncomfortable and if it feels this way, then it feels wrong. And therefore we can go into a meditation and we can try to feel it to get rid of it. We can try and feel it like, oh, I'll feel it, but as long as it leaves, right? Which is also a form of resistance. That's you loving the child so they will go away, right? But one thing we can do right now is as you breathe, I know that you know what it feels like when these emotions come up, but this is one thing that we can really remind ourselves, is that we can drop the meaning and we can drop the stories. We can drop the thoughts that go through our head about this feeling, and we can just focus physically on the sensations. And the reason why I know you do this is because you work out a lot. Sort of like when you're running, if you're running, doing gym, you're in a space of feeling physically uncomfortable, right? Now, if you're on an intense run and you feel the burning in your legs, or you feel it in your chest, or you feel it wherever on your body, but you're running and you're in flow and you're making it happen, why don't you freak out then and say, oh my God, my legs are feeling burning. I'm just going to figure out why my legs feel burning, and then I'll stop and I'll feel completely fine because I figured out why my legs are burning. Right? What's the difference there?
God, it's a fear. That's a good question, actually. I feel like the emotional pain, it's the emotional pain, the one that I really struggle with. I can handle a lot of physical pain, and I can be uncomfortable in so many ways, but emotional pain, it's like, I can't take it. It's
now,
just so hard.
What makes it emotional pain rather than emotional discomfort?
The resistance to actually feeling it, I think that's what really makes it worse.
Totally.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what's the meaning you give the pain in your legs when you're running?
It's just part of it, you know?
What else? Anything else come up?
I feel like I'm getting stronger.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's a good pain.
Yeah. Awesome. It's a good pain. Who would thought there'd be good pain in this world, hey? It's good pain. It's helping you grow, and it's part of the process. Now, what's the difference between that and what's coming up emotionally?
I mean, it's basically the same, but why is it so hard? That's why I'm like still stuck with the why is it so hard? And I almost wanted to ask you if we can actually go together through it, because I have such a hard time doing it myself.
Totally. Beautiful. So let's just take a moment to breathe. You're on this call anyway. You've shown that the fears don't control your actions, right? And everyone on here will be able to feel this as well. But as you breathe and as you relax, one thing everyone on this call, as well as Francesca, can do is continue to ask yourself that question of, what's my biggest fear? What is it that I'm avoiding? What would allow this internal 5-year-old to freak out within me, to come to the surface, to be seen? For a lot of people, that's releasing something that's vulnerable. For it's getting on stage, it's being in a space of leadership and truly coaching from a place of leadership. But a lot of people can start to feel that now. You don't have to go through the circumstance itself or the event to actually feel it. So one thing we can do right now, Francesca, if you were to breathe and welcome in whatever fears coming up, welcome in whatever uncomfortable emotions coming up, what emotion would you describe comes up when you are out there to be seen and you're putting yourself out there for judgment for other people? What is it that you feel internally? What's the emotion? What's the emotion that comes up?
It's definitely fear, but shame. And it makes me want to cry. Like I can feel it like in the throat.
Great. Beautiful. So as you breathe and welcome it in, one thing that truly helps, one thing that will allow us to feel fully, is to focus on the physical sensations. The more you focus on the physical sensations, not only do you feel it, but you also drop the story that it brings. You can see the illusion behind the story and the meaning behind the feeling. But the more you welcome it in, the more you physically feel it and focus on your body. Like I said, you feel it in your throat. The more you feel it, pay attention to the physical sensations. So where is it that you feel it? It's your throat. Is there anywhere else that you feel it in your body?
Yeah, it feels like oppressive.
Yeah. Okay, great.
And it's like fear of rejection also.
Awesome. Perfect. So breathe that in. And while everyone's doing this, whatever's coming up, allow it to be there. Give yourself permission. You can even say in your head or out loud, whatever is aligned for you, just welcome this in and just say, I accept this. You're allowed to feel fear. You're allowed to feel embarrassment. You're allowed to feel shame. And as you focus on the physical sensations, Francesca, can you describe to us in detail, as much detail as you can? You could probably even exaggerate the physical sensations a little bit so you know exactly what it's like. But does it feel heavy? Does it feel jagged? Does it feel empty? Does it feel, what is it that you feel physically?
It's very like oppressive and like heavy. It's like almost with like both hands, you know?
Okay.
Yeah.
Great.
Like I want to go and run. You know, that's how it.
Totally. We're not going to run this time. We're not going to run this time. So allow it to be heavy. Feel the heaviness and welcome in the heaviness. Allow it to be as heavy as it feels. And all you need to do is focus on the physical sensations. Just focus on the heaviness and allow the heaviness to be there. And while you're allowing that, while you're breathing with it, while you're accepting it, while you're welcoming it in, I'll explain to everyone, when you're feeling this heaviness, you can almost imagine like it's a backpack. Like if you have a bag, we have no dramas carrying around a bag. We have no dramas carrying around a bag. And the reason being is because although it feels heavy, it has things in it that we need. And the same thing goes with these emotions. We can carry around these emotions. We can carry around the heaviness, and we can actually carry it around as long as it needs to be there. It's not our job to get rid of the bag. It's not our job to make it lighter. It's not our job to move it on quicker. It's our job to physically feel the heaviness and welcoming it in for as long as it needs to be there. And the more you feel it, the more you can drop the stories around it, the more you can drop any meanings we attach to it. We can feel the physical sensations. The more we tap into the side of us that knows we're carrying around this and loving this side of us for as long as we need, because within it are the divine gifts. There's an internal 5-year-old right now that has a belief that says, my life needs to look this way and I need to behave this way in order to be loved, in order to be seen, in order to be heard, in order to be understood. And the more we feel this, the more we hold a loving, safe space for that 5-year-old to be seen. The 5-year-old that might feel embarrassment or shame or rejection. But the beauty is the more you allow this heaviness to be there, or the heat or the jaggedness, the more you allow it to move and pulsate, the more you hold a loving, safe space for the 5-year-old, the more they feel seen and heard and loved. And that's why you're able to hold this for as long as you need. That's why you're able to feel this and hold it for as long as it needs to be there, because you know all you're doing is just loving this space. All you're doing is just loving this space. You're loving this energy no matter what happens. And therefore, it doesn't matter if it's here for 30 seconds, 3 minutes, 30 minutes, 3 days. It doesn't matter. You're just in a space of allowing, a space of welcoming, a space of surrender, a space of love, no matter what happens. So while you feel the heaviness, while you feel the love of this 5-year-old, the more you can also feel this safety that's around it. You can feel this energy of safety, you can feel this energy of love, and you can hold space for both of them, for all of them. So what does it feel like now, Francesca, when you hold a space, the loving, safe space for this heaviness?
Feels better. I mean, it feels lighter already.
Yeah. Well, why do you think that is?
Because I allowed it to feel it.
Yeah. And what do you think the core message is of this 5-year-old that feels scared or feels shame or embarrassment or whatever it may be? What is the core message that this 5-year-old's coming to be seen and to be heard? What's the core message that they're coming with you?
What is the what?
What's the core message that this 5-year-old's saying to you? Are they saying I'm scared? Are they saying I need to be seen? Are they saying I don't want this to happen? What's the core message of this 5-year-old that's coming up?
Don't leave me alone.
Now's not the time to go running. All right.
No.
How much does the 5-year-old feel alone when you analyze why they're feeling that way and then you go running to feel better?
Yeah.
But this is what we do. This is what we're trained to do as people in Western society, of course, but also in terms of human psychology, where we are drawn to safety, we are drawn to certainty, but we've associated this type of experience of life with pain. And consciously or unconsciously, we're just designed to avoid that pain and go do what feels good. And that allows for a lot of safety, but it also allows a lot of certainty. It's like, I know exactly what to do to feel better. And so our unconscious mind always goes to these patterns of avoidance and resistance and patterns that may allow us to get pleasure and avoid pain in the short term. Right? But the reason why it's probably feeling lighter already is because this is breaking your pattern. It's breaking a pattern of feeling, breaking a pattern of being seen, because no matter how many Zoom calls you can get on, if this side of you is still freaking out, it will always come up in different ways. It will always come up to be seen, because this side of you's never been seen before until now.
Yeah.
So what is it that you're feeling now? What are you experiencing?
I feel calm now.
What does that feel like? What does it feel like in your body when you feel calm?
I feel like way lighter.
Yeah.
Like I don't feel that oppression anymore.
Yeah. I want to just ask the people on here, who notices the difference in her energy now? What do you notice that's different now about Francesca's energy, her presence, the lightness? Now she's been able to let that go, or actually just hold a space for it. Do you guys notice the difference? Because I certainly do. And no doubt you definitely feel different, right?
Yeah.
Instead of saying yes in posture, openness, right? Definitely more calm, right? So there's always an aspect of holding a space and focusing on that physical sensation, allowing the physical sensation to be there. But now we can have a discussion about what this now allows you to do, what this now allows you to bring to the world. Because what's the deep lesson here? What's the deep lesson that you've been able to take away?
Well, that definitely makes me show up, how can I say it, like more like whole and present and even more authentic, and just showing myself the way I truly am with all my broken parts as well, you know?
Yeah, if you can do this for this side of you, man, you can do it for any side. Trust me. Once you feel the heaviness in your throat, you can feel tightness in your chest, you can feel heaviness in your stomach. It's exactly the same process. Like Lisa's saying, that obviously there's a lot of calm, it's clear, more open, right? Vince is saying there's a relief, so that people notice a physical difference, right? Not only do you feel it, but people notice it. People notice it in your energy when you show up, like you say, with more presence, with more kindness. Because let me ask you, if you can hold this space within yourself, does it now give you the awareness, the responsibility, the openness to be able to do it for someone else as well?
Absolutely. Yeah.
And if the less you judge that side of you, the more you'll judge less that side within someone else. So what you'll start to feel is you'll actually start to be triggered less, right? Because that same characteristic that you were resisting in yourself, as soon as you see it in someone else, your unconscious mind's going to freak out. That's when we judge, right? That's when we're triggered. But if we love all those sides of us, and trust me, more will be there. If we can love all those sides of us, then we can love all the sides of everyone else as well. All right?
Yeah.
What is it now that you're able to contribute at different levels because of this process?
Well, the fact that I allow myself to feel, everything, I feel like I open the doors for other people to do the same. Like I allow them to do the same. And like, as I said, it's just like showing up with just way more authentic and real. And people can feel that for sure.
Yeah, totally. How do you feel now about jumping on a Zoom call and having 350 people jump on live with you?
I feel like a part of me will still freak out, but I can allow myself to feel it. And that will, I feel like a part of me will always freak out a little. But that's okay, because it keeps coming up, it doesn't really, I don't know if there's an ending.
No, there's not meant to be, right? It's not meant to be.
Yeah.
It's like with your fitness. It's like you don't go to the gym for 3 weeks and be like, man, I'm set for life. That's awesome. I'm so glad I did that. Right. Right. It's part of growth. It's the growth process is always to be moving forward, always to be evolving. And in this context, it's always loving different sides of you that haven't been seen yet. Right.
Yeah.
Now, how will you feel when you jump on a Zoom call and no one's there?
I feel like in both scenarios, I will feel better, like, no, I wouldn't, it's not the end of the world. It's not, it's also like learning not to take things personal,
Totally. And I love the concept of it's not about feeling better. It's about feeling more fully. It's like on the call, it's like, I won't necessarily be feeling better, but I'll be feeling more fully. I'll be feeling more alive. I'll be feeling like I'm on the edge of life, trying to evolve and ever evolving. And you can be honest with that. I can imagine if you had a lot of people on a Zoom call, you'd be like, man, guys, I'm feeling vulnerable. I'm feeling courageous. I'm feeling scared. I'm feeling sad. And you just being okay with all of it. Right. How much more authenticity, vulnerability, and influence will you have in those moments? How much would that inspire people when you're approaching with that level of openness compared to jumping on a Zoom call and being like pushing this side of you down, being like, I need to deliver here, right? And you're like, go away for a little bit. I need to make sure these people are good and okay and present myself like I'm fine. Right? It's such a different relationship with those emotions. Right? What else have you learned here? Talk us through what else is going on.
I just feel such a relief. Like I feel so much better. Like I feel like it helps me so much to do this with someone else though. Like I have to start practicing just doing it myself, and see how that goes. But I mean, wow. Beautiful.
Well, no doubt everyone on here is going to be sharing their gratitude and plenty of support, because this is such a courageous move on your behalf to just come on here and just raise your hand and then be like, oh yeah, I'll do one of these calls. And you're like, okay, now I'm freaking out. Right. It's kind of, it's it's a beautiful part of the evolution, but it's very, very inspiring. It's inspiring for everyone who's watching here, and just to be able to see others get outside their comfort zone and hold that space for the side of them they've generally never been able to hold space for before, right? And so we thank you immensely, and we just want you to know how inspiring it is. It really does. It'll touch people's hearts to see this, and the more you do this, you can just do it time and time and time again. That's how you really inspire, by just showing your authenticity and vulnerability. You have a big heart that just wants to serve, and it's being led by that is such a key piece of this journey we call life. But is there anything else you want to add? Is there anything else that's coming up? Any questions or anything else you want to share with the group?
Not that I can think of. I just feel so peaceful now. You know, I'm like,
yeah, totally.
Like, so good.
Well, enjoy being able to breathe. Right. Enjoy that. Enjoy for the rest of the night. Just take that in, how big this is. Take it in of what you've been able to do for yourself here. The 5-year-old you're able to hold space for, the relationship now you'll have with that side of you, even the relationship with other people, including your parents, things like that. Other things might change as well and shift. And this is just it seems like a pivot point right now. But the more that pivot point evolves, the more it expands, right? And so you're just going to be on a trajectory of more openness and honesty and vulnerability, all of that. And that's where this really, really gets exciting. But what are you feeling now about putting yourself out there and being more open, being more vulnerable, being more honest? And how do you feel now about the judgments of other people?
I mean, I feel like it doesn't make me feel paralyzed anymore, you know? Like, it's not like I have, and I think I told you I have a show in a week, and just today, like, I was running lines before I came to, you know, the call, and I was again freaking out. I'm like, oh my God, I don't know that I can do this. Like, this stage is too big for me, like, you know? And now I'm like, no, it's okay. It's fine. Like, it's okay.
It's like this stage is too small for this stage. my stage. Right? Everything, like I said at the start, everything you can achieve, everything that can happen to you, all the events and circumstances, like, you're bigger than all of that. Right? You are the space. If you can hold a space for the side of you that you've been resisting your whole life, you can truly hold a space for anything, right? Who and what you are is this space. Who and what you are is the space that can hold everything. And that includes everything that comes up on this journey of being seen, getting out there, going on stage, right? Doing these radio shows, you're doing all these things. It's just a reminder of how big you and your spirit is, right?
Yeah,
that's beautiful.
Definitely feel expansive, and yeah, oh, so good.
Awesome.
Thank you so much for having me.
Hey, you're very welcome. Thank you for jumping on. Thank you truly for jumping on. It's awesome. And so if anyone else wants to jump on in the future weeks, let me know. But is it cool if I can put your links on the recording and things like that for people who want to connect with you as well?
Yeah, of course. Sure.
Okay, great. So I'll put all the links and stuff so people can connect with you and add you to the network, because clearly you have a big heart and you're always looking to serve. And now your level of inspiration just jumped 10 feet. So it's really, really cool. But yeah, I just want to thank you for being on here. Is there anything else you want to share before I wrap up?
No, just tell you thank you. And thanks to everyone, because I haven't read the comments. I mean, I've seen a couple, and just thank you for being so nice and kind.
That's okay. That's what we do. Hey, we're all here for support. But thanks so much. I'll give a little bit of a conclusion, but that was awesome. I truly appreciate you for your heart and your openness and your kindness and courage. That's really, really cool. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
And this is what we do, hey? This is what we do. That was massive. So in conclusion, if everyone wants to just breathe and just get a subtle reminder of what just happened here and what shifted within you. What was the shift within you by just observing this? By just being here and being in a space of observation and feeling within you as well, what's your number one takeaway? What's the biggest lesson you've learned here? What's the biggest thing that you can feel is a lesson, is not only a lesson for you, but what do you feel needs to be seen within you? And the more you feel that, the more you're in a space of allowing, the more you're in a space of surrender, the more you can access those gifts. The more you can just truly access the divine gifts that are here by just living life more fully. By living life more fully, by living life with full levels of emotion, we can truly transcend any pattern. Truly, we can transcend any pattern. So I thank you everyone for joining. Thanks for jumping in the comments. Thanks for jumping in the chat here. Always love seeing it. So I'll see you guys same day, same time next week. If anyone wants to jump on live as well, like Francesca, like Kimberly last week, if anyone wants to do that and have a chat here and talk about some things that you might be going through, then we can definitely do that. I'm loving these. I think it's a real clear sign that it's helping a lot of people. And it not only allows you to transcend a lot of things, but I think everyone is being able to impact as a byproduct of this conversation as well. So thank you again to Francesca. That was beautiful. And I just want to hold space for whatever lessons you've learned. Truly just give yourself a pat on the back for whatever shift has been made here. Because it does seem small, but it is no small feat to overcome the years of avoidance and the years of suppression. We can truly just be a space and just recognize how big this is for the trajectory of our life. So thank you so much, guys. Have an awesome rest of your week. I'm loving all of the support in the group, on the podcast and the YouTube, everything like that. The comments and feedback and the rates and reviews, everything like that's been super special for me. So I truly appreciate it. So thank you very much, every guys. Have an awesome rest of your week. I'll be talking to you guys soon. Take care, everyone.